Gear's Reflex RS is on sale, and they also have transparent resin with magical transparent glaze. This video was sponsored. My name is your dad, and because we've been sponsored, this gives me an excuse to hobby hard. And so in this video, we're bringing back the old Groundeffected. So they gave me this clear resin, and they told me that I can do whatever I want to do. I need to make a project using the Gear's RS as well as this clear resin, and they're also new glaze, which is the gloss glaze for clear resin, which, as you can clearly see, produces an epically fantastic result. Now, my first thoughts were to print something for my PlayStation and maybe do a new cover or case for my PS5 controller, but I thought that was a little bit too easy. And then the perfect storm arose, and my friend Nympha had created this incredible model of Ghost in the Shell. Now, I could have advertised the clear resin and the Gear's machine and the PlayStation, but I figured that's not what I want to do. So I'm going to make this Ghost in a Shell. More importantly, I'm going to add some old Groundeffected into this. Yes, that is the magic of wires, resistors, LEDs, and the ESP32s, as well as this whatever the heck that is, so that we can make this whole thing light up and look like a Christmas tree, because I need to put it on my table and have it thus forth forever in my Groundeffected set, cemented for life. I just want to say that Nympha has a Patreon, and she creates some absolutely incredible models every single month. You should definitely go and check them out. There'll be a link for Nympha in the description down below. So where I'm currently at in this project is I have painted and glazed, I've just glazed this little back piece of glass. Whilst editing this video, I realized I hadn't even shown you how I made this clear resin yet. As you already know, Gear sent me the clear resin, which I promptly popped into my RS, and then using Blueprint, which is the Gear slicer, all I have to do is click pre-support and send it off to my RS to be able to print without any hassles. This and many other items on the Gear's lineup is available on a discount, currently on sale on their website right meow. Go look in the description for a link to see these things. Of course, there is also a Groundeffected code, which does in fact give us a little bit of money towards the channel and help me keep the lights on. Once it's been printed, all I need to do is take the prints off of the supports and then cure and wash them as normal. Once they are then cured and washed and dried, I can now apply the glaze. Now, Gears has created a bunch of PDFs about using this stuff, and it's probably best for you to go and read up about them before you end up becoming a victim. So the way they suggest to use this stuff is either to dip, or to brush it on, or spray it. I sprayed it outside of my studio, and for purposes of showing you how it's used, I just painted it on this part. Now, once you've painted it on, however you get it onto your part, dipped, painted, sprayed, you then re-cure the part again, and this will make a solid, shiny coating over the top of your transparent bits. This is what a part looks like once it's been printed and cleaned and cured in transparent resin. And this is what it looks like once you've put the glaze on it. And this is repeatable and extremely easy. I'm going to now wire all of this stuff up so that I know that the wiring works, and then I'm going to paint the model and put it all together. I just quickly want to mention about the clear resin. If you look, it comes out like this weird bluish kind of color. This helps to counteract that it goes yellow, and I'll be honest, when you cure it, it goes a little bit yellow, but it takes a day or so and the yellow goes away, and then when you put the clear over it, then it ends up something like this, which is, this is literally glass-like. So on the base, I want a light to come through, because in the renders there is this glow that's coming from the bottom of the model. So what I did was I taped off the bottom section to make sure that stayed clear, but I also sanded that to make sure that it was not super clear, because if it was super transparent, then you would see the LEDs on the inside, and you don't want to see that. Now, there are about 700,000 LEDs here. That's a lie. There is genuinely only 60 of them, and I need to wire them all up. I literally took a LED strip, which is individually addressable LEDs, and I put them in this configuration so that it would fit roughly into the bottom of this base. Before I put them in, though, I do need to paint it, and I painted a silver chrome on the inside to help reflect light, and then I painted a black and then dry brushed the outside. Now it is time to install WLED on the system, and this is fairly straightforward by just going to the WLED website and using whatever they have available for you on there to download this onto your ESP. I then soldered everything to where I thought they should go. So for a little while, I thought actually I was a bit of a crazy person and I could not figure out what was going on, so I used a whole fresh strip of LED here to see why I could not light this up. But It was because I was plugged into the wrong place. When I look on this app, I'm using GPIO 16. It is very clear there, 16, and I was plugging into 5, 2, 4, everything but 16. So if you are making one of these, you obviously need to download the WLED and then install that onto your ESP, and after you've done all these lettered and numbered things, make sure that you're connected to the correct letter. You see, 16. It was not on 16, it's now on 16, and I managed to get lights on. So now I'm going to resolder my board back up together again, and hopefully we have lights. The most important thing is making sure that all the connections are correct on the soldering, and then hopefully... Hallelujah! I will now have individually LED addressable. I can address my LEDs individually. Now what I did then was drill the hole to make sure that the USB-C could fit through the base, and I literally just shoved this thing inside of the base and made sure that the LED was as flat as it could be, and then now I can start putting together the rest of the model. The base requires me to paint some tubes that are going around it. Now, I'm going to be honest, because I already have the LEDs, I figured I could cheat here and just leave the primed black on them and only paint red over the little wire that goes on them to give a little bit of interest. We don't want to take too much attention away from the model, and the attention is definitely going to be the LEDs. Speaking of LEDs, I want to chuck some in the top portion of this as well, because while we've got light coming from the bottom, I want to make sure that there is a white light on the top of her to light up the little pipes and tubes that are holding her in place, as well as give us a top-down light. But these LEDs are different to the WLEDs that I'm using. The WLEDs take 5 volts and these only take 3 volts. This means I need to add a resistor. This is a 100 ohm resistor which I'm using to drop the voltage down by just a little bit so that they will last and not explode in my model. I have to now drill out all of the little holes just big enough to fit that resistor through, and then proceed to solder 8 of these bloody things together, which by the way is a little bit of a ball ache. It takes a bit of time, but to be honest, this is the kind of thing I really enjoy doing. Once I've got them all into their own little wires, it's time to put them into the roof, and for this I used a little dab of super glue to make sure that they stuck in, because if they weren't glued in, they might have pointed in different directions, and these LEDs are directional, so you kind of want them pointing in the direction that you want them to be pointing in, otherwise it'll be a bit weird. I then took all of the red wires and all of the black wires and soldered these together, and then soldered a long thin wire coming out of them, which I obviously used some heat shrink to protect them so there was no open connections. I shoved that into the back of the model and drilled a hole into the bottom base so that this wire can go through. It doesn't matter that there is a wire at the back here, and in fact the two colors kind of work with the model. This is where I came across a little problem. In a nutshell, what the problem was is that I wasn't getting ground to complete itself, so I just moved ground away from where I had the power, and now I have got a full connection, which is electrical stuff, and it took me about an hour and a half to figure out that I needed to find a different ground pad to take the ground from. But basically, if you're using two different types of LEDs, like the WLED and then these white 3 volt ones, you need to find a different ground, because apparently the WLED ground does not come all the way back around or something like that. Either way, I don't know enough about electronics to tell you how that works. What I do know about is painting models, and luckily this model is pretty simple to paint. It is literally just skin tones. I put all the parts together and sprayed a zenithal over the top of the model, and then sprayed red into the shadows. Annoyingly, the model is really closely tight. Her arms and legs are really close together, so you kind of need to work backwards with the skin tones on this one. Usually I would put the skin tones, then tint the undershadows, and then come back with highlights, but because this model is going to rely on me putting the highlights over the top of everything, I'm going to be putting on this orcish dermis first. This is one of the last colors that I normally use, and then I'm going to work my way down the other way, like I would normally go this color first and then orcish dermis, but this time I'm working in reverse. This is because I want the color to be in the little creases and crevasses and cracks. It's going to be easier to put them in first and then highlight them, as opposed to putting the highlights on and then trying to put shadow into an area that is impossible to get an airbrush or even a paintbrush into. So this is the reason I chose to paint it this way, and I worked all my way up through the brightest colors until I got to the end, and I added a bit of white ink into the last color and put that on a specular highlight like the tops of her shoulders and knees, for example. I then used a semi-gloss varnish over the top of the whole model model, this is to make it look a little bit more robot-like, because the skin could be a little bit shinier than normal skin tones, I guess. I then took some bronze and I painted that into the crevasses where she has these robotic things coming out. That's because there is some very thin lines that go around her, and these what look like to me to be gold. And so this is the color that I used to represent gold in most cases, and I think it worked pretty well with this model. After those inside little line was painted, I then took some dark silver and painted on the inner line of that inner line on the inside of those robotic panel pieces, and this gives a pretty cool effect to the fact that the outer edge or rim of that inner piece has got like a golden look, and then the inside is the metallic. I mean, you could probably do a little bit more with this. You could probably put like a shade over the top of that, but I feel like not too much needs to be done because the effect of this model is actually going to be in the lighting of it. I then used some of that bronze to go over all the little cracks around her mechanical parts, I guess, and then used a little bit of black to paint the eyelashes so that it looked like her eyes were more eyes than not, because if I didn't paint it would look weird. I then used Magos purple to paint her lips so that there was a natural looking lip color, and then stuck her hair on top of her head, which by the way I just painted 2 lots of purple, a dark and then a lighter one, and now I'm going to dry brush quite a light purple or lilac color over the top of it just to bring out some of the details of the hair so that it looks like there is some highlights on it. Now that she is done, I can then put some glue into her little back holes, which I used a little pick at the end of my brush thing, that's the holder things, to put that glue in because it was really difficult and small. And I took off her hair as well because it was hard to do all of this with the head in the way. I eventually ended up taking off the head as well, but then I glued that head back on, and then I can glue the top part of the model onto the top part of the model so that the entire model is in fact now done. It was a nice change to be able to get back to doing some electronic stuff. Annoyingly, doing this stuff costs a little bit of money, a little bit more than just making the model itself. There is obviously price involved in the WLEDs. These are very expensive. And the normal LEDs aren't too bad, but it's the WLEDs plus the ESP driver to make everything work. These things tend to cost a little bit of money on top of, and it's just impossible to do that for every single project. So it's nice to be able to be sponsored to do something that I enjoy doing, which is making these things just completely over the top. And speaking of sponsors, don't forget to check out the link in the description for the Gears RS, which is currently available from just $499, and as well as the transparent resin which made this project possible. They are also going to be opening up to third-party resins soon. That's coming in Q2. So make sure to check that out as well. Thank you Gears for sponsoring this video. I really hope this video inspired you with your own project in the future for transparent resins or even just lighting things up. And also, please go and check out Nympha. Nympha is an amazing artist. She makes some incredible models. There is a link for her down in the description below. And this is the part of the video where I thank my Patreons for supporting me as well. And if you're interested in supporting me over on Patreon, well then there is a link for that too in the description. The best way you can support me at the moment, if you're not interested in Patreon, is to share this video. Share it in one of the groups that you're in. Share it to your granny, share it to your friend. Just share the video. The more the videos are shared, the more people will watch my videos, and the more popular I might feel like I am, which is weird in a way because I don't really care about that, but equally I need views on my videos to be able to eat. And that's it, the end of the video. This is the part where I tell you, if you didn't like anything you saw in this video, wash your hands and off.